I made $150,000 on my last house project. I'm gonna go over what I did step by step so you guys can do this for yourself. Okay, back in December, I bought a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house in Northwest Reno. This house was actually beat up pretty good. The previous owner had tenants in there who threw parties and really didn't take care of it. A lot of people see houses that are in this condition, they get turned off. This is exactly what you wanna see. It's really a gold mine. When you find properties that actually need work, that gives you the opportunity to go in there, make some improvements, and have some instant equity. So you're actually making money when you buy it rather than when you sell it. That brings us to the most important yet the hardest part about the whole house flipping journey, and that's actually finding a good deal. This one actually came to me through a wholesaler that I know. So they go and find the deal, they negotiate the deal, and they get it under contract. And I actually pay them a pretty hefty fee to do this, so I don't have to do that myself. They actually got the deal under contract for $300,000. The price that I paid for the house was $364,000. So believe it or not, I was grinning from ear to ear when I paid $64,000 on top. So my all-in cost was $364,000 on this house. If you guys are getting any value out of this video, give me a like, drop a comment, and hit the subscribe button below. So when you see a property that it looks like it has good potential, you want to run some numbers on this. This is really important. First, you want to understand what the after repair value is. And you can do this by taking a look and finding 3 to 5 similar homes that are within a half-mile radius that sold within the last 3 months. Okay, these are properties that are similar in size, age, square footage, number of stories. You want to find houses that are fixed up and that have been somewhat modernized so you get a fair assessment of what property is going to be after you make the repairs. Also, having a similar lot size as far as how big the property is too is really important. So you have a clear understanding of what the after repair value is. Next thing to do is to determine what's it going to cost you to take the property from its current state to that after repair value state. So what's it going to cost you in rehab and renovations? On this property, we did paint, flooring, kitchen, cabinets, countertops, bathrooms, and just some miscellaneous repairs that need to be done throughout the house. On this property, we spent about $50,000 because we actually also did some new windows, which can add up relatively quickly. So with the $364,000 that we paid for the property, plus $50,000 in repair costs, we're in just about $416,000 on the home itself. So once you have your after repair value and a rough estimate of what it's going to cost to actually renovate the home, you can figure out about what a fair price to pay is. If we run a simple math calculation that I do is I take whatever the after repair value is, I multiply that by 0.8, and then I minus whatever the repair costs are. This is a simple calculation that'll give you a rough price of what you're able to pay for the home. Now that you've identified a good property and a fair price to pay, if you make an offer on it and if it gets accepted, congratulations, you're now in contract on a property. Now you've got to figure out how you're going to pay for it. One, if you've got cash, that's the quickest and easiest way to go. If you're first time out of the chute, that may not be the case. There's multiple ways that you can partner up and get financing for this project. The first and almost the best way, in my opinion, when you're first starting out, is to partner up with somebody. If you don't have even any money at all, you find a good enough deal, money will show up. Go to someone who has some money. There's a lot of people that want to invest in real estate but don't necessarily have the time or the experience. You go to them and say, hey, I've got this great deal. Here's what I'm buying the property for. Here's what we're going to repair it for. Here's what it's worth afterwards, and here's how much in profit we expect to make. So you do all the work as far as finding the deal, managing the rehab, and getting it sold. They put up the money, split the profits 50-50. This is a great way to get started. The best way to do this is through family and friends that you already have, or you can go to your local real estate meetup. They're in just about every metro and every area of the United States. Another way for you to get this done is to get what's called a hard money loan. I use a company called Kiami. They give me a $3 million line of credit where I can go and I can purchase homes at will. They'll close very quickly between 5 and 10 business days. They don't require an appraisal, and they've got flexible lending terms. They don't even really look at your credit all that much. They're more interested in the deal itself to make sure that you're buying a good asset at a discounted price. If that's the case, you will find someone that's able to lend you money. Those interest rates tend to be a little bit higher, anywhere between 10 and 12%. There's some financing costs rolled into there, and you have to make sure you calculate that when you're doing your analysis. But it's a great way to go and get started if you have about 10 to 15% of the purchase price to put down. They'll even fund the rehab costs. Next step in the process is to find the people that are actually going to do the rehab and work for you. A lot of people want to do this themselves. I don't do any work themselves. That's not my specialty. My specialty is to go out and make it rain. So a great way to do that is honestly, it's just on Craigslist. If somebody's posting on Craigslist or Angie's List or Facebook Marketplace, it means that they're hungry for business. There's a lot of contractors out there that have plenty of work and don't necessarily need new clients. You want to find someone that's eager for the work and it's going to do it at a reasonable price, that will work with a real estate investor such as yourself. They know that you're going to keep buying houses and keep them busy. They're playing the long game rather than just trying to make a whole bunch of money off you once. If you also go to your local real estate meetup, we find that a lot of the investors, they use the same contractors, so they can point you in the right direction. It's all about networking, making yourself known, letting people know what you're doing, what you're looking for, and you help them where you can and they help you where they can. It's a great way to network and find some great contractors. Don't be afraid to open your mouth and ask the question, hey, who do you know who's a good plumber? Who do you know that's a good electrician? You do this enough time, you're gonna have the right network built up quicker than you know it. So again, we bought this property for $364,000 and needed about $50,000 worth of work. We actually just had a house that sold right around the corner, similar size, similar neighborhood, similar age. It actually went in contract for $565,000, which means we have $150,000 of equity in this home. But I don't really have a need for that money right now. We actually keep it as an Airbnb, so we don't have to pay taxes. We collect a great monthly income off it, and it's a great addition to our portfolio overall. We paid cash for it, right? So we had no debt whatsoever, and it's cash flowing great, meaning we were collecting about $5,000 to $6,000 a month in monthly income from the Airbnb. However, we still have a ton of money sitting there in this home, so what we did was got something called a home equity line of credit. You may also hear it called a HELOC. So now we have access, we can tap into the equity, the money that we have stored up in this home to go purchase another house. And that's exactly what we're doing right now. Actually just got done doing rehab on it. It's now in contract to sell, or $50,000 on that flip rather than just having money sitting there. So once you start building up properties and building up equity, your options become a lot easier. So don't be worried at first that if you don't make as much as maybe I'm talking about on this video because you've got to pay financing costs. That's what many people have to do when they first get started. But you work your way up, and the more you do it and you're smart with your money, that's how you can start getting these big wins. And even more so than worrying about whether you got financing or not, you want to just make sure you're buying a right deal. You have to be patient and prudent. Not a good deal doesn't necessarily pop up every single day, but when they do, and they always do, you have to make sure that you have the discipline and the wherewithal to jump on it and jump on it quickly. You have to be known as the person in your marketplace, whether you're working with sellers directly that are purchasing their home, or real estate agents that have houses that they want to sell, or wholesalers that they're looking to sell the house to you. You want to be known as the person who does what they say they're going to do, and they act quickly and decisively. That's how you get paid in this business, is by providing speed and convenience to people who value speed and convenience over just squeezing every last dollar out of their house to sell it for the maximum price. If they wanted to sell it for maximum price, they would list it on the market with a real estate agent and go that way. And that's what's right for about 95% of the population. About 5 to 10% of the population will sell to a real estate investor, such as myself. They don't have to make any repairs. They can leave any junk that they want to have in there. We'll buy it as is. Because we take that headache and that emotional burden off them, they're willing to sell it to us at a discounted price, and that's how we make our money. If you guys have any questions about how you can get started on this process and start doing it for yourself, comment below and be sure to hit the subscribe button so we can stay connected and I can keep you updated on all of our doings. We keep all of our products on here. You can learn a lot, but I want you to do more than just learn. I want you to jump in, and by doing that, ask me your specific questions. Let me know how we can help, and I look forward to connecting with you.